Since Barney Frank stepped down from the head of the Financial Committee, well, Maxine Waters was next in line. Now, Maxine Waters is one of the most progressive members of the House. So I thought, head of the Finance Committee, now the Republicans are in charge, but she'd be the head for the Democrats. And if they win back the House, then she'd be the head of the whole committee. That's not going to stand. In fact, I boldly made a prediction. Let's watch it. The Democrats are considering who's going to be the head of the committee for them. They're in the minority at this point, but it would be their leadership on that committee. The person who has seniority is Maxine Waters. Based on what I'm reading here and other articles that I've read, I'm going to tell you it's not going to be Maxine Waters. It's going to be Carolyn Maloney. Carolyn Maloney is way down on the seniority list, but she has made it clear to Wall Street, I'm here to play ball. What do you need, my fair constituents? You tell me and I'll do it. No problem, right? So she will somehow become the Democratic leader of the Finance Committee. I could be wrong. We'll find out. And believe me, if I'm right, I'm going to let you know about it. And here I am letting you know about it. Okay, it hasn't happened yet, okay? But now, all of a sudden, in the papers, we're saying, you know, Maxine Waters, I don't know if she's right for that committee. No, Carolyn Maloney seems really well suited for that committee. Really interesting. Now, for example, Politico, which is the political section of the New York Observer, had this awesome article about it. First of all, they say themselves, quote, rather, most of the concern stems from what is perceived as a general hostility to the banking industry, if not the economic system as a whole. First of all, she's the regulator of the bank industry, in a sense, right? As the head of that committee, she's going to watch over them a little bit. Shouldn't she be a person who is a little skeptical of the banking community? Hey, let me make sure I keep them in check. Is she supposed to be their buddy? Are we supposed to pick someone who's like, yes, banking industry and banks in particular? No, don't worry, we're not going to look at your fraud or anything. Of course, that's what the banking industry wants, and of course, that's why the media is pushing for it, and eventually the Democrats will go for it. And then, of course, they extend that to, she might be an enemy of the entire economic system. And then, unsurprisingly, they quote some bankers. In fact, the first one is a New York banking lobbyist. Quote, she is wacko. She's very flamboyant, very old school. She's not one of these younger, sophisticated members of Congress. She has no grasp of the technical side of finance. She was elected during a different time in history, and she hasn't read a book since. All right, now let me go through all the different lines of attack there. First of all, when they say she's old school and the newer members are more sophisticated, you know what they're actually saying? All the newer members of Congress, we have done a fantastic job of buying because they win their elections based on our financing. Some of the old school guys, because of their name recognition, we can't quite root out yet. But don't worry, we will eventually. But I don't like this old school, it's not pro-banking. Okay, and then second of all, they began the article with a racial history, which they then said was not important, right? Oh, how she, during the Rodney King riots, said that the riots were a bit of a rebellion, and she was worried about her constituency, who happens to be black, because I don't know if you know this, Maxine Waters, also African-American. And she said once the Tea Party can go to hell. All these things are really problematic, okay? This latter because of the fact that she's actually against the right wing. Yes, she's a Democrat. And the former because, you know, if you represent the African-American community, it could be an issue. And then later, in this quote, the banking lobbyist happens to reconfirm that by talking about how out of the mainstream she is. What a wacko she is. He's not even sure she reads any books. Huh. Interesting. And by the way, I love that when they brought up Rodney King and stuff, they said, not that it's relevant. Well, then why did you put it in the article? Eve Smith did a great breakdown of this on Naked Capitalism. And now we go to the third quote from the article. This is from a former consultant at McKinsey who's now at the Pace University Center for Global Governance Reporting and Regulation. Quote, she is anti-bank. She doesn't like anybody that wears a suit and a tie. She yells at them and says, why aren't you doing more to address the housing problem? Why aren't you doing more to raise the boats of the less fortunate? It is a total misunderstanding of what capitalism is. I love that quote. Look at what they're saying. She's yelling at the bankers. How dare she do that after they caused the largest economic collapse of our time? She hates anyone in a suit and tie. And then the last one. It's a total misunderstanding of capitalism, trying to help those who are disadvantaged. rising the boats of the less fortunate. I thought that was your whole trickle-down theory. Wasn't it that if we give all the money to the rich, that eventually it'll trickle down and everybody's boats will rise? Apparently that is a misunderstanding of capitalism. No, apparently the rich are supposed to get richer, and if you complain about it, oh, you don't belong as the head of the finance committee. Oh, no, 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 no. We need to bring Carolyn Maloney in. She represents New York, and she will sell out to us exactly as we want. If you think this is just a random coincidence, you don't know anything about current day politics. They will move Maxine Waters out. They will move Carolyn Maloney in. Carolyn Maloney will pretend to put up a fight every once in a while and will agree with the Republicans 99% of the time, and the bankers will get exactly what they want.